Alright, and I just did my other video, so might as well just do this one too while we're at it. As I've got my usual repertoire of emblems showing, and I just went over the Derpy emblem. I'll post a link in the description of the one that, I'll post a link in the description to it, and if you're interested in watching that or making your own. Right now though, we're going to go over this emblem. I don't know exactly what to call it. I remember the scene was in the last episodes of Season 2 with the Twilight Sparkle and Shining Armor. And I saw Paleo, yeah, making references for cool people on the internet. Paleo Steno, I believe is his name. I'm terribly sorry if I'm butchering your name. I really look up to you, but I shouldn't be forgetting your name. But I saw he had a custom of his OC pony on a picture, and so I was like, hey, I bet you I could make that in Call of Duty Black Ops 2. So I took on the challenge, and I'm pretty happy with it. There's a few things that are missing with it, most importantly noting that my OC is a Pegasus, and there are no wings here. There weren't enough layers. But let's get started, shall we? So, as usual, for the background, you're going to want a background. For this one, you're going to want something that contrasts your color. Paleo's was dark blue, and he had a light blue background, and so that cast really well. For mine, any other color beyond black and gray just seemed really bleh. It didn't look right for those colors, especially with the color of my pony. So, by all means, play with the colors, do what you want, and have fun with it. It's total personal preference on which color you want to choose. Another personal preference I made was I used a round square, and instead of filling up the entire box, I made it so it just has those ends cut off, and it looks really nice. I was surprised because on the emblem this is just a bland background. It doesn't have any black on it if you don't put a piece there, and so if you put just like a simple square with curved corners, it looks really nice, and it makes it look nice and crisp and clean, and it just gives off the picture a little bit better. It makes it feel more like a sticker, I guess, if you can call it. Moving on though, I did not start with the hair, just because the hair was the hardest piece to go for, just because it was just the hardest part to do in all the whole pony. What I actually did was I started with this, about layer 8. I started using a half circle, and I slimmed it up using the free scale, and then I just put it in there, and I added, I don't even know what to call this thing right here. It's not a square, it's, you know what, we're going to look it up. It is the top hat. We just slimmed up the top hat, we put it right above it, as you can see, right above it, and you want to have that nice little lip right there where his, right where his mouth is, like on the edge where it cuts off, right near his eyes. And so it's not a hard thing to do, but it's definitely something that took me a whole lot more time than I should have. The next thing I worked on, I'm going totally out of order from what I did here, but the next thing I worked on was I made the neck, and I just used a simple tube. It was real simple, and I just put that bad boy in there, and just made a neck. From there I went on and I went to the podium, and I put it right there, and I got that nice little curvature on the bottom of the chest, I guess we'll call it. And in order to get that square back, that square flank, I just got another top hat, and I put it right there on top so I can get that nice curvature on his back, on the top of the flank, and a square back on the flank. So that is something that you kind of have to be a lot of these emblem things you have to be real lax about. You can't be super picky. I spent literally 2.5 hours on this emblem, and I shouldn't have. I was just spending literally an hour in all just worrying about getting the spacing right while looking at the reference picture that I was using. So it's a whole lot easier than you would think it would be. From there, I went on to the legs, and I went to the outside legs first, just because they're the same color as the body. You'll probably can't tell in the video, you might be able to, The inside legs are a little bit darker than the ones on the outside, and that's just to show for effects, for shadow and stuff. But basically, all I used for these is just the tongue, twice. And on the front one, I just thinned it up. On the back one, I made it so it angles a little bit straighter, following up with that straight curve, with that straight edge, so it gets that nice straight flank look that the picture holds. And so that's just basically what I used for those. I also, we're gonna go back because this one back here, it's layering. If you want the pictures to go well, if you want them to fit right, you have to do layers. But I used tongue on everything except for the back one. And I noticed in the picture that I referenced, it had a straight leg on the right, on the third leg from the right, or second from the left, I guess you could call it. But so I just used the cone. I slimmed it up, made it a little bit longer, and actually I made it quite a lot longer and thinned it up, slimmed it up pretty much. But I just used the cone. It's right there, and it all came out real well. I'm happy with the legs, and that's how you get the basic design for the body. Oh, the ear. I'm sorry, I forgot the ear. And the ear is just a basic circle turned into a oval. I mean, it's really, all in all, it's really simple. It was just hard to get all the pieces together and having to pick everything that I wanted. The eyes are just simple little circles and ovals for highlights. That's with the smile. I chose the smile outline, and then I just used an axe, and I made it real small. You might not even be able to see it very well in the video, but I just made it real small. I'll change the color real quick, and I covered up this part right here, so so it blends really well. Yeah, I have to go back and go back in. So it blends really well, and you can tell, okay, see how it's covering up that one spot. It's like, oh, alright, I see how. And that's how I got that smile. Otherwise it just looks demented if you just use a normal smile outline. Like, seriously, check this out. It's kind of weird. If you can see that, it's just like, I haven't gotten a lot of sleep, guys. Please give me this. Beyond that, it's just messing with the tail and mane. For me, I just use the usual that I used for my last picture. For Freefall is my OC's name. I just use spikes, the golf flags, in different sizes and variations for the tail, just because you've got a real short tail. And I used it. It's basically the same thing with the mane. The only difference I really used is the high voltage for this highlight, and even then I added the golf flag on the end to get that last long bit on the end there. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all it. Just keep messing. No, let me just say this: I've got friends who, this is an easy thing to do. If I can do it in 2.5 hours, it's a whole lot easier than people make it out to be. If people keep saying, oh dude, that looks awesome, I wish I had the artistic ability to do this kind of thing. It's not hard. You just got to put forth the time and effort to do it. Instead of working on your KD, maybe go out there and make a kick-ass emblem or something that stand out to people, and they'll say, hey man, that's pretty cool. I guess those are my words of wisdom for the day. It's just have that stick-to-itiveness to keep going, and you'll make something cool, even if it's unoriginal, or maybe if it's something stupid, small. Progress is still progress, and so even if you can't get all of what you want, if you settle for just what you give, you're never going to get for anything. But if you're constantly pushing the bill and you're always going for something new, you're going to do new things and push to high places. This is, I don't know what this is. This is AA meeting for Emblem editors, but that's pretty much just how I go about it. It's like, it's not a huge deal to freak out about not being able to do stuff. It's cool to have friends to do stuff, but it's really nice if you can make it yourself. That's why I make emblems. That's why I make the tutorials. It's not so people can just copy them, but so they can be inspired to make their own. Well, that being said, this has been Emblem Tutorial with Jeff. Thank you, and have a great day. Please comment and subscribe if you wish, like, and yeah, I'll be making more emblems soon. Thanks. Laters.